friends, honored guests, advisory board members, faculty, staff, and students. Welcome to Penn State Wilkes-Barre. At this time, I would ask that everyone takes a moment to turn off or silence your cell phones. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Linda Goldstein, Chancellor and Chief Academic Officer of Penn State Wilkes-Barre.
Thank you, Professor Brennan. Good morning, graduates, family members, honored guests, and everyone associated with Penn State Wilkes-Barre. Welcome to the 2023 commencement exercises. We're extremely thankful to be able to gather today for this milestone achievement in your lives. I declare we are now convened for the 2023 spring commencement of the Wilkes-Barre campus of the Pennsylvania State University. Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem led by Professor Jonathan Panino. Penn State Wilkes-Barre is a historical campus of the Pennsylvania State University. It was established in 1916 when a group of Penn State graduates working through the Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Club officially asked Penn State to offer engineering classes in the area. In November of that same year, the first classes were held in subjects like surveying, reinforced concrete, mechanics, and advanced mathematics. Today, the Wilkes-Barre campus offers 8 baccalaureate degrees and 4 associate degrees. Students can begin at our campus and complete their degrees at another Penn State campus, or remain with us and earn one of our bachelor's or associate degrees. Our graduates would do well to recognize and remember the campus heritage, a heritage of which you are now a part. Always speak highly of what you have accomplished, and know that the quality of your education is built on the history of 168 years of higher education at Penn State and 107 years of heritage on the Wilkes-Barre campus. Indeed, Penn State Wilkes-Barre is a highly respected institution in our regional community, and our graduates make significant contributions to the social and economic strength of northeastern Pennsylvania and beyond. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Ms. Jill Schwartz, Chair of the Penn State Wilkes-Barre Advisory Board. Ms. Schwartz is the owner of Fortune Fabrics Incorporated and Gosh Yarn It. Her family, the Fortinskys, have a long-standing history with Penn State Wilkes-Barre and pass that love to their daughter. Ms. Schwartz has also co-chaired the campus campaign committee and has created several endowments and scholarships at the campus. She is deeply rooted in Penn State Wilkes-Barre. Ms. Schwartz.
On behalf of the advisory board for the campus, I would like to welcome our students and those they have invited to this commencement ceremony at the University Wilkes-Barre campus. I could finally say this after 3 years. It is a Penn State blue and white sky that covers us today and always will throughout our lives. I would like to congratulate our students who complete their work at Wilkes-Barre and continue on the exciting journey of living and learning. The education process never ends, and this day is another milestone in that process. In a short while, you will become one of the 750,000 living alumni of Penn State. As a Penn State Wilkes-Barre graduate, I am asking you to become ambassadors of the Wilkes-Barre campus, to tell other students your experiences and the quality of education you have received. The board wishes you good luck to the graduates, thanks their parents and families who have supported these outstanding students. I hope you keep in touch, come back, let us know all the good things in life that come your way. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Schwartz, for your warm words of welcome, your outstanding leadership as chair of the Penn State Wilkes-Barre Advisory Board, and your generous support of our programs, students, and faculty. We're honored to have you as a member of our campus family. Dr. Christine Bergeny will acknowledge this commencement's outstanding students.
Thank you. So I have this honor of some very high achieving students and getting to acknowledge them. Students from our campus who are graduating with highest distinction are wearing a blue and white cord, but students with high distinction are wearing a blue cord, so it's a little difference. Will the student receiving the highest distinction please rise and remain standing? Will the student graduating with high distinction please rise? Congratulations and best wishes to you both. Penn State Wilkes-Barre recognizes those who have honorably served or are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces by awarding a red, white, and blue honor cord in recognition of their duty and service. Will the students wearing a military honor cord please rise? We thank you for your service and offer congratulations to you and best wishes in your future endeavors. One of the most prestigious awards that we bestow on our campus is the John R. Murphy Award. A successful alumnus from our campus, Rick Berry, who is with us, endowed this award in honor of a former dean of students. And this honor is intended to recognize one graduating senior each year with outstanding qualities of character, scholarship, leadership, and service, and have directed into programs and services that have positively influenced fellow students and contributed to the prestige of Penn State Wilkes-Barre. The 2022-23 recipient of the John R. Murphy Award for Excellence in Leadership and Service goes to James Burke. James has previously served in the United States Air Force and is graduating today with an associate's degree in business administration. Congrats. Oh, there's more to it, sorry. He's also spent 2 years on campus supporting the Veterans Support Club, this year as a president and member and club representative of the Student Government Association, and also a member of the Student Activities and Facilities Fee. So he's been very active. Thank you. The campus is honored to have 2 awards given by the Doherty family. The first one, the Martin U. Doherty Emerging Leader Award, is presented to the student of junior standing and who has achieved a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 and who demonstrates excellence in leadership, service, scholarship, citizenship, and character. The 2022-23 winner of the Martin U. Doherty Emerging Leader Award is Emma Sands. Is Emma here? Oh gosh, thank you. She's not graduating. Why would, right. Thanks. This is my first time, so. The second one is the second Doherty Family Award is the Florence C. Doherty Pride of the Lion Award, and which is given to an undergraduate student, could be a sophomore, junior, or senior, with academic standing enrolled in Penn State Wilkes-Barre in recognition of exemplary personal character, campus and university pride and spirit, and Penn State pride throughout their involvement in the campus and the community activities promoting Penn State Wilkes-Barre. And the 2022-23 winner of the Florence C. Doherty Pride of the Lion Award is Verena Lake. We'll see her here next year. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our student marshal. Please join me in welcoming Abigail Winter, who is graduating today with a Bachelor of Science in Information Sciences and Technology, and Abigail will deliver the student marshal address.
I will begin by first welcoming you all to today's special occasion and thanking Dr. Bergeni for the kind introduction. It is an honor to speak on this very special day. Congratulations, graduates of 2023. Each of us has worked hard for this moment for the past couple years, and now we are finally here. First, I would like to take the time to thank everyone who has helped us throughout our time here, our families and loved ones, our professors, and campus staff members. I would personally like to thank my parents who have supported me by giving me everything I needed to succeed and for being there for me when I needed it. I would also like to thank my professors. During these past 4 years, I have learned so much about IT. Thank you to Dr. Wei-Fan Chen and Brian Reese for teaching me everything I know. I was able to learn so much about programming and web design from both of you. I would also like to say thank you to our IT services members, Caroline Konoski, Jared Kepner, Ty Pace, and Sue Hay, for giving me an opportunity to work with them and learn firsthand how the IT department operates in real life. It is hard to believe that it has already been 4 years since we all first started this journey. Some of us may have already known each other before attending Penn State Wilkes-Barre, while others may not have known anyone at all. Over time, however, we have all become friends and created memories that we will carry with us for the rest of our lives. I would now like to ask you all to think back on a happy or funny memory you have from your time here. It could be something that happened from an event you attended, a class you had, or a memory that you share with the friends you have made here. Something I will remember is playing Uno between my classes with a good friend I met on campus.
I would always joke around and say that he was either really bad at shuffling the cards or was really good at cheating, because it was awfully suspicious when I was getting hit with +5 card after +5 card and stuck holding 20 cards in my hand. Although it is something small, it is a memory that my friend and I look back at fondly, and I occasionally still tease him for how badly he would shuffle the cards. I am sure that all of us have a memory that will stick with us long after today. It is important that we all have these good memories of our time here at Penn State Wilkes-Barre, as they will remind us of where we came from and of what we have achieved in our 4 years here. While it is imperative for us to move on and think of the future ahead of ourselves, it is also important to hold on to the good memories from our journey through college. We all must have something, whether it be a memory or a friend that we made here, that will remind us of just how valuable our experience has been at Penn State Wilkes-Barre. I met my friend Emrys, and yes, he is the friend I would play Uno with, at our first year seminar during the second day of school. I remember we were put into groups to introduce ourselves. I was in the same group as Emrys, and I think we both looked at each other and knew we would remain friends for a long time, even after the class was over. Today, we are all finishing a chapter in our lives and entering a new one. Some of us are going further in their academic careers and pursuing graduate school, while others are getting ready to start professional careers. Whatever the next step may be for each of us, it is important that we each set our sights on our goals in life and not give up on them. While pursuing different majors at Penn State Wilkes-Barre, we have all learned very similar values. For one, we have all learned what it means to be a hardworking individual. I am sure everyone has experienced a time where you just had 1 week filled with exams, quizzes, projects, and presentations that you had to do, and somehow juggle all that work with your job or extracurricular activities outside the classroom. While these moments were likely difficult or even stressful to handle, we have all got through it, and from this we have learned to stay determined and focused. College has come with its fair share of difficult moments from inside and outside the classroom, but we have learned not to give up and to push through it. Next, from our college experiences, we have learned to be independent, to think for ourselves and work through things on our own. We have learned to be supportive of one another and come to help when needed. Our time these past 4 years have taught us all more than the education needed to pursue the jobs we wish to pursue, but it has also taught us all the individual values, to stay determined and not give up when things get tough, to use all the hard work you have achieved to push yourself even further, and to be independent yet caring individuals that will shape the future. As we end this chapter of our lives and prepare ourselves to start another, we must look towards the future and the goals we want to achieve. Whether it be something from your professional career or life in general, things will likely not go your way or end up the way you want to all the time. One piece of advice I would like to share with the class is to never give up on working towards your goals. If it is a goal or a dream you have, then it is worth fighting for. Each of us has gone through the journey of college, which likely brought forth its own challenges, all of which we have managed to get through. We each also have a great number of people who support us, from our family and friends, both old and new, who will be there for us when needed. If you have ever met me, you would likely know that I'm a big fan of Gordon Ramsay, who is a famous chef, so I would like to share a quote from him. "Put your head down and work hard. Never wait for things to happen. Make them happen for yourself through hard work and not giving up." We are all capable of accomplishing great things so long as we work hard towards them. Focus on your goals and do not let challenges or obstacles discourage you from following your dreams. Remember who you are and what you have achieved here, as that will help you move forward in life. I would like to thank everyone for attending this ceremony today, and to the graduates of 2023, remember that we are Penn State. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail, for reflecting the student experience at Penn State Wilkes-Barre. I now invite Sarah Tomczak, who is graduating today with a Bachelor of Science in Rehabilitation and Human Services, to introduce our commencement speaker.
It is a great honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Mr. Rick Barry. Mr. Barry attended Penn State Wilkes-Barre for his first 2 years of study before transitioning to University Park, where he earned a bachelor's degree in political science from the College of the Liberal Arts. Mr. Barry's career began in politics, and after 2 years, he shifted to investment fund management that included roles at Robertson Stevens Investment Management, Lazard Freres, Legg Mason, and Merrill Lynch. He was a founding member of Eastburn Capital Management, LLC, and was also a partner and advisory board member for the San Diego Padres from 2009 to 2021. Mr. Barry transitioned into biotechnology, where he's a board member of Sarepta Therapeutics, a pioneer in genetic medicine for rare diseases. He also serves on the board of Cassava Sciences, which is developing a potential treatment for Alzheimer's disease. Mr. Barry is a member of the Mount Nittany Society and has served on numerous boards and councils within the university. He and his wife, Sue, are leading Penn State philanthropists. Gifts to our campus include the Rick and Sue Barry Trustee Scholarship, the John R. Murphy Student Services Center, and the John R. Murphy Award for Excellence in Leadership and Service. Having started his Penn State education at Wilkes-Barre, Mr. Barry understands firsthand the value of the university's Commonwealth campuses and the lifelong connections that are made here. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rick Barry.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Sarah. It was really kind of you. Part of it, I was wondering if you were talking about somebody else, but it's, I'm thrilled to be here. This campus is very special to me. It's, you know, for me, it's kind of where it all started. Yesterday there was an event outside of Hayfield House, and it was really nice. And I got to meet some of the graduates here. And I learned about the basketball team, which won the national championship, and I got to meet Anthony. Well done. Steve Jones was there. And most of you, I'm guessing, know Steve, but if you don't know Steve personally, you know his voice, because he broadcasts pretty much every Penn State sporting event, including football, which he does with Hall of Famer Jack Ham. And Steve is terrific at what he does. And Steve was also the first student I ever met at Penn State and the first friend I ever made here. And it's been a few years, neither one of us want to remember how many, but we've been lifelong friends. He's terrific, and he's great at what he does. But you know, he couldn't make it today, and I'm kind of glad that he didn't, because I was afraid, you know, Steve is really good at play-by-play, and he might do play-by-play while I'm speaking. And, you know, I've written a few pages to read to you, and at some point I'm going to stumble over my words, and I know what Steve would do. He'd stand up and yell, "Fumble!" So, glasses would probably help. I'm truly honored to be with you, to be here with you today. You've all worked very hard to graduate. You've also had experiences that are very different than most college graduates that came before you. You lived through a pandemic and all the challenges that went with it. I congratulate you on keeping yourselves focused on the prize, a degree from Penn State, and what doors that might open for you. When Chancellor Goldstein asked me to speak at the commencement, I thought back to the first time I visited the campus, during my senior year of high school, with my mother. She was always certain I was going to college. I was less certain, and also a bit indifferent. I didn't find high school to be all that interesting, and I wondered if college would be just more academically rigorous version of high school. And as you all know by now, it isn't. I also thought back to the time that I was graduating and tried to imagine what I was thinking or expecting at that time. But I became preoccupied with thinking about a number of key things I've learned since the day I was sitting in your seat. If I had known then what I know now, it probably would have saved me a lot of time and frustration. So I'm going to endeavor to tell you some of the valuable lessons I've learned with the hope that they could be helpful to you. I remember feeling overwhelmed as I approached my graduation day. Like you, I had worked really hard to earn my degree, but I thought the graduation meant that I had to decide what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I felt a tremendous amount of pressure to make a decision I really wasn't equipped to make. I had an internship at the time, and one day my boss seemed to notice that I was very out of sorts, and he asked me what was wrong. I told him I had no idea what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And he gave me sage advice, that I didn't have to make that decision. I only needed to decide what I wanted to do for the next 2 or 3 years. It was incredibly liberating. What I couldn't see was that my circumstances would change, and in time, I'd find other things that interested me. It's very hard to predict with any degree of accuracy what direction your life will go when you're graduating from college. I've learned that change is virtually constant. You may have a head start on this since you were university students at the time during the pandemic and you saw remarkable changes and how fast they happened. I had a more fixed idea of permanence when I was sitting in your seat. I didn't expect to see the world change so drastically as time went by. I was a political science major at Penn State. I remember a course I took on the Soviet Union. One day in class, the professor told us that there was one thing the United States and the Soviet Union would always agree upon: never allowing East and Germany to reunite. It was a perfectly reasonable thing to say. The Soviets had built a wall in Berlin to separate the East from the West. There were opposing military organizations backed by huge stockpiles of nuclear weapons to keep the status quo in place. There was not much reason for anyone at that time to think the situation would change. 11 years later, there was no Soviet Union, and Germany was once again one country. Imagine another change. From the time the Wright brothers were first in flight in North Carolina, it took only 66 years for Neil Armstrong to set foot on the moon. There are lots of examples of unexpected change. But the point is that you'll experience huge changes as you go forward, and you're best equipped, if you expect change, learn how to embrace it and try to be as resilient as you can be when it happens. Because there's so much change, you'll be wise to think for yourself. We live in a world where lots of people and organizations would like to do their thinking for you. Don't let them. Universities exist to enable students to learn to think critically. It may be the most valuable tool as you go through life. The business model of media and social media organizations is dependent on distracting you and drawing your attention to their websites, broadcasts, and apps. They rely on the power of reinforcing your existing biases, whatever they may be, and training you to continue to tune in. It isn't a secret that political opinion is extremely polarized. It's a byproduct of the reinforcing of biases. When I was much younger, it was considered a fact, and a scary one, that the world was running out of oil. We cried about it too, actually. In fact, many scientists back then were expecting that there would be very little oil by the year 2000. What tends to happen is the world responds to change, and linear predictions like that are almost always wrong. Human ingenuity and markets anticipate change. New technologies were developed to find fossil fuels and develop dramatically greater fuel efficiencies. In fact, many scientists today would be thrilled if we were running out of fossil fuels because of their concern for the effect on climate change. If you had overreacted to those predictions back in the 70s, you might have made some unfortunate decision. Look, you're going to see a lot of predictions about the future as you go forward. Just keep some mind space for the fact that most of them are going to be wrong, and some of them are going to be spectacularly wrong. Learning is a lifelong activity. Challenging conventional thinking is not a bad thing. By the way, if you haven't already, you will discover that it is so much easier to be a pessimist than it is to be an optimist. This is something that took me a long time in the financial markets to figure out. I think there are a couple of good reasons for that. First, the negative or pessimistic case is always based on empirical evidence. For example, interest rates are rising, companies are laying off employees, a war has broken out. It's usually easy to see why somebody holds a pessimistic view. An optimistic case usually requires a leap of faith, and that's hard for some people to do. An optimist often must look over a valley or around a corner and look past obvious negatives. The other reason is that fear is a much more powerful emotion than greed. That's why it takes years for bull markets to run, but only weeks or months for them to collapse. Speaking of fear, I want to talk about another four-letter word: risk. Fear and risk are often used in the same sentence, but the truth is that there are risks worth taking and risks that no one should take. The best kind of a risk is an asymmetrical risk, and that's where the reward could be life-changing, but the downside, if it doesn't work, is small. The worst kind is when the upside is limited, but the downside is catastrophic. I would not encourage you to bet your life savings at the racetrack because somebody gave you a tip on a horse. But I would encourage you, as you go through life, to take calculated risks. You need to be comfortable with the risk you're taking. You need to understand your own risk tolerance and understand the risks you're taking. There's an old saying in the financial markets that essentially says that if you don't know who you really are, Wall Street will be a really expensive place to find that out. Today, there are millions of people employed by thousands of companies that did not exist when I was graduating college. And there are probably millions of jobs that existed when I was graduating that no longer exist because the companies that provided them are no longer in business. When I was leaving Penn State, the country was in the midst of a severe recession. Interest rates were at levels no one ever foresaw. Businesses were closing, manufacturing jobs were disappearing, and financial markets were deeply depressed. It was easy to be a pessimist. The entrepreneurs who started those now very successful companies took significant risks. 40 years from now, one of you may be the commencement speaker, and hopefully you'll make the same observation about the many jobs that were created by businesses that today we wouldn't even be able to imagine. I hope that some of you will be the people who help create those opportunities. If you take a risk and you fail, it does not have to define your life. America is the land of second chances. I was in the money management business for much of my career. Over the years, we interviewed a lot of prospective employees. One question that I learned to ask was, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you? I got a lot of interesting answers over the years. I asked the question because I knew our business was inherently volatile. When you invest in stocks, you shouldn't be surprised when they go down, and sometimes a lot, before your thesis plays out, or sometimes you find out you're just plain wrong. What I saw in the business was that many investors had never experienced failure before, and they did not know how to handle it when it happened to them. You can live on the right street, go to the right schools, but if you don't experience failure at some point in your life, it'll be hard to develop the kind of emotional resilience you'll need to get through the hard times in life. And we all go through tough times. You will make mistakes as you go forward, but they can be really valuable if you learn from them. Sometimes the best teacher is adversity. I've learned a lot about myself from my mistakes. I've had jobs and employers that I didn't like. I trusted people I should never have trusted. And I did things that I wish that I hadn't. But I'd like to think that these mistakes taught me what I didn't want to do, and there's a lot of value in that. Here's one of my favorite lyrics from philosopher Billy Joel. Okay, he's a rock star. If you don't know who he is, ask your parents. It's from, he writes very well. It's from the song, You're Only Human. You're not the only one who's made mistakes, but they're the only thing that you can truly call your own. One mistake that is easy to make is to compare yourself with others. My wife read to me a piece from the Times of London in which the author made what we both thought was a brilliant remark. The article discussed how, in the author's view, people misuse social media. His observation was that people were, quote, making that critical mistake of comparing the inside of their lives with the outside of everybody else's. I don't use much social media, but I've seen lots of people posting glamorous things in beautiful places on social media. I've never seen any posts from people who were just fired from their job or arrested for embezzlement. Comparing yourself to others is really a waste of time. The only comparison that you want to make is between the person you are and the person that you want to be. The closer that comparison looks, the more satisfied you'll be with your life. Don't get discouraged if it takes a long time to get there. We learn who we are and what we're capable of as we go through life. Be mindful of one other important human trait. People don't typically change as they go through life. If unchecked, we will tend to become more concentrated versions of what we always were. In other words, if you're a skeptical person at 30 years old, there's a real risk that you're going to be unbearable in your 60s. However, there is a way to defeat what I call my law of concentration, and that's good relationships. Having good friends or mentors helps to keep us in check, and they'll tell us when we are unreasonable or unbearable. We'll not always want to hear it, but our good friends will give us their honest opinion, and if they are good friends, they will want what's best for us. Look for those relationships in life and cherish them. Among the relationships that I greatly value is my friendship with John Murphy, who was Dean of Student Affairs here for many years. And if you don't know John personally, you'll definitely know his name because it's on the Student Services Center here on campus. John had wizard-like status with students over the years. He still has that status with me today. I sought John's advice in writing the speech, and I feel fortunate to call him my friend. So, I've given you some of the things that I've learned since graduation, but you're all going to have your own life experiences and learn your own lessons that will help you navigate life's great moments and challenges. There is no final exam for the course. Once again, I want to congratulate you on your graduation from Penn State and thank Chancellor Goldstein for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I'm also grateful that my daughter Lauren and my son-in-law Brian and my wife Sue came all the way from Michigan to watch this. Now I'd like to say something that I've always wanted to say. Class dismissed. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Barry, for sharing your perspectives and experiences with our graduates today. You've provided each of us with a message of hope and a challenge to keep growing in wisdom and service. We wish to recognize your significant accomplishments and your generous support of our campus. To show you our appreciation and to commemorate your role in today's celebration, we present you with a rendering of the treasurer of our campus, the Hayfield House. As we prepare to award degrees, there are students here today receiving their diplomas who are returning home from other Penn State locations. We welcome their participation in graduation exercises on the Wilkes-Barre campus. We also bid farewell to 54 fine students who leave us to complete bachelor's degrees at 9 other Penn State campuses. We are confident that Penn State Wilkes-Barre has prepared them well for challenges and opportunities they may face as they move on from this nurturing place to continuing their educations. We will miss their outstanding leadership, enthusiasm, excitement about learning, and very good humor. As we say goodbye, we also welcome them into the ranks of our campus alumni, and we wish them success and happiness in all their future endeavors. We also invite them to return and graduate from Penn State Wilkes-Barre's campus when they complete their degrees. Let us now proceed with the presentation of candidates for degrees, the reason you're all here. We now present candidates for associate degrees in 3 programs. Through several years of study, You have gained knowledge and skills which have earned you this degree and the recognition of achievement which accompanies it. We know you will translate your learning into work and service to benefit yourself and your community. Ms. Schwartz and Mrs. Mary Conti are participating in today's commencement by congratulating our candidates. Mrs. Conti, representing the Campus Alumni Association, will present graduates with their first Penn State alumni pin as they receive their diplomas. Dr. Ann Brennan will call the name of each candidate. Please hold your applause, I know it's hard, until the candidate receives the diploma. I recognize Professor Salvatore Marsico, Campus Program Representative for the College of Engineering.
Will the candidates for the degree of Associate in Survey and Engineering Technology please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Associate in Survey and Engineering Technology. Will the graduates please come forward?
Isaac Cottle. Zachary Hunsinger.
I recognize Professor Teresa Clementi, Campus Program Representative for the University College.
Will the candidates for the degree of Associate in Business Administration please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Associate in Business Administration. Will the candidates please come forward?
Jim Burke. Grace Kubis. Hannah Matisick. Kira Noggle. Kyle Noggle.
I recognize Dr. Wei-Fen Chen, Campus Program Representative for the University College.
Will a candidate for the degree of Associate in Information Sciences and Technology please rise? Hold on. Dr. Goldstein, I'm very pleased to present this worthy and approved candidate for the degree of Associate in Information Sciences and Technology. Will the graduate please come forward?
Brian Sorber.
We have a tradition at Penn State Wilkes-Barre that when a child of an employee graduates, we invite the parent to participate in the presentation. Today, we have the opportunity to have a parent join in the presentation of her son's diploma. The parent will be announced at the appropriate time in the ceremony. We now present candidates for 11 baccalaureate degrees. Students, through your hard work, you have truly earned the degrees that are about to be conferred on you. The diploma you each receive represents knowledge and skills that place you in a special group of individuals who have graduated from Penn State University. Use these gifts well. You've worked so hard to acquire them. Use them for the benefit of your families, your communities, and our world. I recognize Dr. Rebecca Sarver, Campus Program Representative for the University College.
Will the candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Administration of Justice please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present this worthy and approved candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Administration of Justice. Will the candidate please come forward?
Tyler Kleinbeck.
Will the candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present this worthy and approved candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice. Will the candidate please come forward?
Matthew Swire.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. Will the candidates please come forward?
Amina Alhawa. Gabrielle Bohinski. Mackenzie Jennings. Janira Valentine.
I recognize Professor Teresa Clementi, Campus Program Representative for the University College.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business. Will the candidates please come forward?
Brooke Arnold. Anthony Pikett. Matthew Roberts.
Campus Program Representative for the University College.
We are the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Please rise. Andy. Dr. Goldstein, I'm pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Will the candidates please come forward?
Ashley Tomeo. Andy Traver.
I now ask Karen Winters, a staff member of our campus, to join Dr. Brennan for the announcement of her son.
We are the candidates the degree of the Bachelor of Science in Information Sciences and Technology. Please rise. Dr. Goldstein, I'm pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Information Sciences and Technology. Will the candidates please come forward?
Edward Cupstis IV. Cynthia Perez. Hallie Sanchez. Abigail Winter. Brian Winters.
I recognize Professor Melissa Littleton, Campus Program Representative for the University College.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Rehabilitation and Human Services please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Rehabilitation and Human Services. Will the candidates please come forward?
Sarah Jewell. Hannah Morgan. Sarah Tomczak.
I recognize Professor Timothy Sichler, Campus Program Representative for the College of Engineering.
Will the candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering Technology please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present this worthy and approved candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering Technology. Will the candidate please come forward?
Charlie Lee.
I recognize Professor Salvatore Marsico, Campus Program Representative for the College of Engineering.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Survey and Engineering please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present these worthy and approved candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Survey and Engineering. Will the candidates please come forward?
Tyler Pokrinchak. Tanner Smith.
I recognize Professor Teresa Clementi, Campus Program Representative for the Capital College.
Will the candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Marketing please rise? Dr. Goldstein, I am pleased to present this worthy and approved candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Marketing. Will the candidate please come forward?
Jenna Cruz.
I recognize Dr. Wei-Fan Chen, Campus Program Representative for the College of Information Sciences and Technology.
We are the candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Security and Risk Analysis. Please rise. Dr. Goldstein, I'm pleased to present this worthy and approved candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Security and Risk Analysis. Will the candidate please come forward?
Wendy Lamazek.
The candidates for baccalaureate degrees have now all been presented. Will all these candidates please rise? The highest authority at the Pennsylvania State University is the Board of Trustees. By the charter of the university, this body is vested with all responsibility for the governance and welfare of the institution, including the granting of degrees. It gives me great pride, therefore, that the Board of Trustees has authorized me to confer degrees at the Wilkes-Barre campus. I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate degree certified by the Pennsylvania State University. You may now move your tassels to the left side. Congratulations, graduates. You may now be seated. Our Penn State Wilkes-Barre students are now graduates bearing Penn State degrees. Please join me in recognizing this outstanding achievement. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite Mrs. Mary Conti to the podium to welcome the graduates into the Alumni Association.
So thank you, Dr. Goldstein. Congratulations, class of 2023. The Penn State Alumni Association celebrates your successes and welcomes you into a proud network of Penn Staters. More than 174,000 alumni and friends like you keep their connection to our world-class university strong through membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. With your graduation, the Alumni Association is pleased to present you with a free membership for your first year. Your membership keeps you in touch with Penn State and connects you with more than 300 geographically dispersed alumni chapters, interest groups, and college and campus alumni societies. I invite you, once you're settled, reach out to your local Penn State alumni chapter. And if you're local, that's me, hi. Your Penn State family will be happy to hear from you. The Penn State door is always open. When you return to Penn State, we invite you to reconnect with your alma mater in ways that inspire future generations. With that, we would like to ask our new graduates to please rise. And would all other Penn State alumni here today please rise as well? It gives me great pleasure to induct all graduating students of the Pennsylvania State University into the Penn State Alumni Association. Welcome to the Penn State alumni family. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mary. Before we bring this commencement to a close, we would like to honor those who have contributed to the success of the class of 2023. Would members of the Wilkes-Barre Campus Advisory Board please stand? Would the faculty please stand? And would the Penn State staff please stand? Thank you all for your investments in our graduates. You may be seated. Now, I know there are many of you who are graduating and who would not be here if it were not for the time, patience, efforts, and sometimes struggles of others to motivate, encourage, or nudge you. These people may be your parents, family, spouses, faculty, or others who played a significant role in your lives. So graduates, I'm asking now that you stand and turn around and pick out that person or persons and applaud them. Please rise. Find your people. You may be seated. Thank you, parents, family members, and others who have given much support to our graduates. You are now graduates of the Pennsylvania State University. You should be extremely proud of yourselves. You should have confidence in knowing that you can reach any goal you set for yourselves. You should leave this ceremony with an intention to make a positive difference in the lives of others. I implore you to go forth and make an impact in your communities, our nation, and our world. Make yourself, your family, your Penn State family, and the entire Wilkes-Barre campus community proud. Congratulations and best wishes for your bright future. At this time, I invite you to join us in singing the Alma Mater, led by Professor Jonathan Panino. The words are located inside the front cover of your program.
Here we go. For the glory of old state, please stand. For her founder strong and great, for the future that we wait, raise the song, raise the song. Sing our love and loyalty, sing our hopes that bright and free. Rest, O Mother dear, with thee, all with thee, all with thee. When we stood at childhood's gate, shapeless in the hands of fate, thou didst mold us, dear old state, dear old state, dear old state. Here we go. May no act of ours bring shame to one heart that loves thy name. May our lives but swell thy fame, dear old state, dear old state. And we have to end with, we are Penn State!
We invite all here to enjoy a light dessert reception in the back immediately following the recessional, and to take advantage of the beauty of this campus with its many photo opportunities. Upon conclusion of the academic recessional, I hereby declare the 2023 commencement ceremonies of Penn State Wilkes-Barre closed. Until that moment, please remain standing at your seats until all graduates have exited the gymnasium. Thank you.